Good night to all members of the public. My name is Renison Jeffrey, and this is the Workers' Rights Platform. We are broadcasting live from the Workers' Rights Network. Today, this afternoon, although we would have started a little late, there is a massive event that is taking place right about now in Mount Lambert. And we are heading over now to connect to this live event that is taking place right now. As would have been announced, it is with the Hope NTA and National Reconstruction Network, the People's Alliance Network. I would have called themselves, as would have been seen anything, is a new hope for those who fed up, according to the description with PNM and UNC. Are you tired of the same politics? The People's Alliance Network is raising to give a voice for those disappointed and frustrated by the failures of both administrations. The silly thing about it is this: there are a lot of floating voters outside there, and they are proposing this change as would have been depicted. So we are heading over to that right now. Right, so we kind of having a little technical difficulties.
Dr. Roshan Ali, Vision 2030, Vision 2050. Which vision is it? He's an optometrist, after all. Absolutely, absolutely. We just have a public announcement to make. There are two vehicles. PDN7850 and BL4338. You need to remove your vehicles immediately, please. Thank you. Sorry about that, Steve.
Folks, as we know, we're going to move on tonight pretty quickly because we have a lot of dynamic speakers to come on tonight. But the person that is coming up to speak to us next was there in the Parliament when the coup occurred, and he personally felt that since our liberties were challenged in such a dramatic way that he had to stand up, and this guy personally, by himself, has been walking from Arima to the Red House every year in protest, just so that we can recognize that how precious our democracy is, and how precious it is for us to continue to be aware and to be grateful for the freedoms that we have. So tonight I'm going to bring on next Wendell Eversley from the alternative soup.
Good night, everyone. All protocol observed. For the past 9.5 years, I've been saying PNM is a problem, UNC not the solution. And we are seeing it today more and more. And Trinidad and Tobago, those who are here, packed in their hundreds, and those who are listening at home in their thousands, if the center does not hold, then something is definitely wrong. And in order for the center to hold, we, the people, must get it right. And I want to say to you all this evening why I'm here tonight. What you are seeing here tonight was taking place 9 months ago, meetings after meetings at Albion Street, where I was present every Saturday along with my then acting political leader, Kurt Sinnott. And one morning, Kurt Sinnott got up just so and decided to change the course of this, what we was working for. I remember one meeting, I said we should call ourselves the Grand Alliance. And today, I'm seeing it as the alliance of the people. And is this what Trinidad and Tobago need today? Alliance of the people. And how are we going to get the alliance of the people right? And I want to tell you all, In every organization, if you do not have trust and integrity, then something is wrong. And we must stand up for integrity. We must stand up for trust. And if the COP back then signed a MOU, our then acting political leader, could Senate, appoint someone who admit he didn't follow the constitution of the COP in becoming leader. How could I follow somebody who break their own constitution?
Make it.
And I want to tell you all today, we must not be fooled about alliance of interests. We must not be fooled about someone who wants to make sure that he gets a safe seat and use others to make sure that he is in there. But I will go length and breadth throughout Trinidad and Tobago with the alliance of the people, because this is what we want in Trinidad and Tobago. We want change, and we want real change. We must not get makeshift change, and we must not get people who think they could use others for their own personal benefit. 2010 to 2015, we must never go down that road again. We must not fool those who fought hard, who take nights and day to make sure that we bring the people of Trinidad and Tobago together. Look what we're seeing and witnessing today. Every day is murder. Every day, look, today, 8 o'clock this morning on 8 o'clock news, United Kingdom now saying to us, we must apply for a visa. We do not know how much pounds we have to pay for the application. We know already how much we have to pay for the United States of America. Who next going to say we must apply for a visa? And we have people in Parliament, 41 of them in the lower house, 31 in the upper house. It's time for all of them to go. And the only way we can ask them to leave is that we come together as a people, stand together as a people, pray together as a people. Let us do like what Moses did and lead the people into the promised land. And today, the grand alliance of the people is going to do it. And I will stand up and fight with you all, because I want to see the betterment and the good for Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
Well, that was dynamic speaking. Let me just say that one of the fantastic things about this coming together is that we need everyone.
Everyone, all hands on deck.
Yeah, and so as we go on, we need the best from the COP, the best from the NTA, the best from the Hope, the best of every political party, the party in power, the party in opposition. We need everyone to come together under this one banner, because what's our focus?
Transformational leadership.
Exactly.
Good governance. That is what we are about.
And our focus is for a better Trinidad and Tobago.
Absolutely. And we want to continue with our very hectic program here by introducing a very well young lady known in the social media, known in the politics. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we welcome a woman of courage, conviction, and unstoppable determination. And she has boldly taken on political challenges, contesting the Martin West in the 2020 general election and the 2023 local government election for Goodwill Glencoe La Puerta. As a temporary opposition senator, she has fearlessly debated key legislation, always standing for justice, protection, and fairness. I would like to introduce Mrs. Marsha Walker. Good evening. Everybody looks better in blue. Gail, you can pretty so have some behavior. I'm going to do something that is not like me. I'm going to speak using figures and not stories this time. I hope you all will indulge me. Are you all going to indulge me? I know in rallies you all like all the hype and all of that, but we want a citizen that is educated. We want to move away from the propaganda. We want to move away from the bobby head and the small pen and all that kind of immature politics. I think that is what the people want. Is that what you all want? All right. Transformational leadership is what we want. Let's talk voter splitting, because that's what you're going to hear. You're going to hear people try to make us feel guilty that we left. While Rome burns, we must wait for somebody to get their house in order while the country burns. We say no to that. And you see that voter splitting narrative, apart from the fact that it's weak, it's not grounded in figures. So follow me here. In 2010, we had a voter turnout of 69.88%. In 2015, that voter turnout dropped to 66.84%. And in 2020, it dropped even further to 58.08%. 58% of the electorate make decisions for us today. 58% of the electorate is the reason why we have to pay $10,000 to go and get a UK visa now. 58% of us, but not of us, is the reason why we can't drive nowhere, we can't go price smart without getting robbed. 58%. That is unacceptable. If you do the math and you look at the downward trend, that means that in 2025, the voter turnout will be 52.18%. That's not splitting votes. That is no voter turnout. What those numbers are saying, they're saying that we want none of the above. That's what the numbers are saying. And when I tell people I walk in the ground every day, I haven't stopped walking the ground since 2019. When I tell people all we hear is they don't want either UNC or PNM, they say I'm making it up. The figures don't lie. The figures are saying to us that the vast majority of Trinidadians and Tobagonians are absolutely fed up with the status quo. They are fed up. That is what the figures are saying. And today, we present a viable option. That is what the people want. The people are saying they want change, but they need a viable option. There is nobody in Trinidad and Tobago that agrees that PNM doing a bad job. We all agree they are doing an abysmal job, but they don't have a viable option. And today, we are giving you a viable option. Today, if you go through, they can talk about grasshopper, they can talk about we have no alliance. We have an alliance. What we commit to is that a political party will never be bigger than our country. A political party will not be who we are loyal to. We are loyal to Trinidad and Tobago. That's who we are loyal to. And if you look around, you will see that each and every member here, they're willing to be victimized. They're willing to be fired. They're willing to be locked up. They're willing to lose their income to make a stand of integrity. And today I call each and every citizen, make a stand, take the victimization. They cannot follow me up. Thank you, Trinidad and Tobago. We're ready for lock up. You know what, they're laughing now. Serious talk going on, you're saying rare, still ready for lock up, everybody go and laughing at me. I serious. When will we stand? When will we stand for what is right?
You know, I tell you what, we have been standing for a while, you know. But tonight, we're coming out and we're saying, listen, we want you, because we've been doing the work. We want you, the people, to join us in this effort. Come out in your numbers. This is the beginning, you know. This is only the start.
Absolutely. And listen to me, Steve, and for those who are not here, there are people spilling all the people across the road, in the car park. So if you're not here, then you should be on your way down.
Well, I tell you what, I'm looking here and I'm seeing people on the sidewalk and the other side of the road. So we're definitely getting there. But we need more than that. We need, when Marsha was talking about splitting votes, I was thinking, there are a lot of people who feel that their loyalty is to their party. And I'm asking you, please, think about Trinidad and Tobago. So when you take in all those different colors, take red, white, and black.
Right.
And that's where your loyalty should be.
Absolutely. In Trinidad and Tobago, we are all about looking at good governance. We are looking at transformational leadership. We are looking at transforming this nation. But we must be the transformation first before we can even see it in anybody else. And so we look forward to seeing all those positive qualities being birthed in each and every one of you, and even across the radio waves. And without further ado,
The lovable uncle.
the lovable uncle. But before we bring out the lovable uncle, I want to find out anybody from Arima here? Arima Posse! Oh my goodness! They break up, they're all over the place. What about Arukan? No below. I see flag waving. My goodness, look at that. All over the country. Look at Martin. Wow, nice. And so, Uncle.
The lovable uncle.
A lovable uncle.
Yes, how could we, one of the things that this person does is that he brings love to any gathering that we have.
Any garden.
And that's what we are looking
Food,
for.
and he also brings food. Alright, no mind. And so, of course, Uncle Errol is well known to everyone. He's a guapo boy. In case you don't know where guapo is, that is going down deep south. And having grown up in Gonzales village in Guapo all of his youth. And Errol, as you would know, is a recovering drug addict with over 36 years of being clean and serene. He would say it like that, he'd say clean and serene. He regularly speaks to school children and adults about the negative effects of substance abuse. Errol is and has been a volunteer drug rehab counselor for over 30 years. And of course, he's no stranger to the politics. And so we are excited to welcome to the podium Uncle Errol.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Now, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Can I feel the love? Can I feel the love, please? Can I feel the National Transformation Alliance and the whole and the CRM? Can I feel that we are here? Can I know that we are alive and ready to stand up on the front line to claim our treat Republic of Trinidad and Tobago? That's what I want to feel. Now, Christine talk about the fact that I'm a recovering drug addict. Well, let me tell you, on the first day of March this year, I was 37 years drug-free. 37 years. And I want to talk a little bit about that, because that is not something that is achieved easily. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes stick-to-itiveness. When you join that battle, you have to stick there. You cannot give up. You have to be there all the time. It takes leadership. And I got lots of leadership from the folks at the Drug Rehab Center where I attended. It takes a whole lot of accountability. So at any moment, you can tell me, urine test, we want to see somebody peel. They want to check, they want to make sure that I'm staying the course. I have to be accountable. I have to account for where I was, what I was doing, and who I was doing it with. It takes management, and management in terms of recovery from substance abuse has to do with knowing the illness, knowing what to do, knowing what not to do, knowing where to go, knowing when you could go and when you can't go. It's a very managed thing. And most important, it's measurement of performance. You hear what I'm telling you? And every time we assemble, you will hear them say, I am John, 6 years. I am Mary, 4 hours. I am Gladys, 6 months. We always have to report and account for how we are doing. And let me tell you, these principles are the principles of the National Transformation Alliance. Leadership, accountability, management, and measurement of performance. Yeah! I fit right into this organization. I fit right in because this is my way of life. You cannot get 37 years drug-free by walking in the park. It's work. And if you are here, and if you're in a blue jersey, or orange jersey, or any jersey, and you are here and you say you'll be a part of this, it means you've come here to work. Because work is going on here. This is not a line. This is not a whole talk. This is not jobs for the boys. There's not fun and games. We're going to enjoy our journey. But we are going to work. We come here to do what? We come here to work. We have to work because we have a country to save. We have a nation to build. And we all want a better day. I want a better day for my grandchildren. I want a better day for my old age because I'm not an old man yet, you know. I want a better day for my old age. I want to do business easily in the place. If I decide to mine some chicken, I want to open a bank account. I want to do business easy. It's too hard. It's too hard to do business in the place. I want to go in the supermarket and buy food. I want to get fresh produce from the people who are farmers. I want to get it. Why? I grew up in that. I know about a good day. Now, let me tell you, I don't want to go back to what it was, you know. I know there's a beautiful day ahead, and the National Transformation Alliance and all who are working with the National Transformation Alliance will bring us to that beautiful day ahead. But we have to. We have to. We have to. God bless you all, my friends. One love. Let's stand firm and work and keep this train moving forward.
Well, that was a dynamic speech.
Absolutely. You know, when we speak about transformation, you start from some point, right? And you move forward, but you move in a direction that gives you an understanding and a realization of what it is you want to be and a goal to reach here. And this is our goal. Our goal here tonight is that this People's Assembly will take us and prepare us for the general elections to take government and to exemplify good governance.
You know, when Errol is talking about the stuff that you booked and so on, I want to tell you, in case you're wondering, what's the difference between us and those people who are assuming office right now? I tell you one simple thing. In the global market today, coffee is at an all-time high in prices. Cocoa, all-time prices high. And you know what the government is suggesting that we do? Plant yam.
I know.
You see? So when we should be getting involved in things that can bring foreign exchange, we get
and we already
varieties
have
of
the
yam.
expertise. We have it. We have the land, we have everything. We have the farmers, we have the expertise. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. But you know,
You gotta go.
I gotta go.
Oh my gosh. It's always a pleasure seeing you.
It's always a pleasure. And so I'm going to take a leave tonight as Steve is going to introduce his next co-host.
Well, the next co-host is a member of the NTA, and he's been, very, very vocal about security and so on. So without further ado, let me just say that we welcome Norman India.
And before I introduce Norman comes in, I just want to remind you that we have membership cards at the table to you if you're interested. And also, Alderman Paul for the Digger Martin area, borough of Digger Martin, is also at his table if you wish to speak with him. Thank you. Welcome, Norman.
Good evening, everyone. Nice to be here.
Norman, apparently they're waiting for some music to introduce you. Yeah, what's up? Question music. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone, again. I am Lieutenant Commander Norman Indial, Deputy Political Leader, National Transformation Alliance. Candidate Shimona is the Commander. Well, good evening again, and you all have seen the caliber of speakers and representatives that have been here on this platform. Speakers without criminal records. Speakers without any investigation under them. Speakers without not being on bail. And I mentioned these things to you tonight because I recently was accused by a red howler who has been put in his cage of being convicted criminally. But you all will hear about that later on in my next post in part 2.
So you have a part 1.
Part 1 is out there, my brother.
I saw it. So as we go on tonight, I want you to keep in mind, please talk to someone who is perhaps next door in a room somewhere. Let them look at what's happening now if you're on television. If you're looking at this on your phone, sit with a friend and let them know that there's hope for a better tomorrow.
So I will now introduce some other speakers with confidence, speakers with class. Our next speaker is dynamic, dedicated, and driven. Nicoline Taylor-Chin, trailblazer candidate for Ruka Lopino. She's committed to uplifting her community to bold leadership and transformation action. With a sharp focus on infrastructure improvements and enhanced local services, she is determined to build a future where every resident thrives. Nicoline's passion for service goes beyond politics. As an active member of the Hunter's Search and Rescue Team, she plays a vital role in community safety and emergency response, ensuring help reaches those in need. Her background as a journalist and researcher fuels her commitment to truth, transparency, and impactful change. Let's welcome Nicoline Taylor-Chin.
Yes, I can hear them saying, why stop living in the past? Where can I find that energy, the raw magic that comes down from the grassroots? Yes, I'm from the first folk and here is sounding proper. You can feel it any time, any hour, sunshine or super. You will feel it anywhere you look, and it reads like a storybook. I come from
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to the political leader of the NCA, none other than Captain Gary Griffith, Deputy Political Leader of Hope, CRM, our governance team members, ladies and gentlemen, and to the online viewing audience. I'll start by saying true transformation begins with you. Tonight, I stand before you not just as a voice for change, but as a believer in the power of people-driven transformation. I am Nicoline Taylor-Chin, candidate for Aruka Lopino and a proud citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. For far too long, we have seen a pattern in politics where leaders appear only when elections are around the corner, promising change, shaking hands, and making grand speeches. All look out there, they're coming. But where are they when the real work begins? Where are they when our communities need them the most? You see, MCA believes in a different approach. We believe that transformation does not come from government alone. It comes from you, the people. Every one of us here, every citizen of our country, not only during elections, but every single day. Real progress is not about dropping a few projects right before the polls. It's about long-term engagement, listening to our voices and acting on your needs. The people in our villages, towns and cities know what they need. We understand the struggles of our schools, the challenges of small businesses, the gaps in healthcare and infrastructure. Why should you only have a voice when it's time to vote? With NTA, your voice matters all the time. We are not just asking for your support at the ballot box. We are asking you to join us in building a better Trinidad and Tobago. We want to empower communities with real decision-making power. When we work together, we create solutions that last, not just for a term in office, but generations to come. And let me be very clear, I am here to work for you. I will focus on strengthening our village councils, because when we come together as a community, we can do much more and a lot can be done. Stronger councils mean better representation, better organization, and a real chance to transform our neighborhoods from the ground up. Presently, roads and agricultural access roads and transportation are just a few of the serious challenges we face right now. And I will work to improve, because people deserve safe, reliable, and affordable travel options. The transformation we seek is not only about politicians, it's about people. It's about making sure every child has an opportunity, every worker has a fair chance, and every community has a seat at the table. We want to move beyond the style of politics we currently have and build a nation where every citizen is a partner in progress. So tonight I want to ask you, and shout at the top here now, do you want real transformation? Yes! Do you want leadership that listens beyond election time? Yes! Do you want a government that includes you in every step of development? Yes! Do you want leadership that leads by example? And if your answer is yes, then the choice is clear. Stand with me, stand with the National Transformation Alliance, stand for Trinidad and Tobago that belongs to the people and not just politicians. Together, let's build the future we deserve, and just as I started, I will end by saying, true transformation begins with you. Thank you.
Wow. Yes, I can hear them saying, why stop living in the past? Where can I find
I'm telling you, because for one of the persons that we just one of the other persons that you're going to have in the new parliament, I can tell you that it augurs well as we go forward in Trinidad and Tobago. One of the things I want you to keep in mind is that lots of other political parties talk about stuff, They have really great plans and they write huge manifestos. But one of the things I would like you to do, so that's to know that this is beyond just old talk. Beyond just trying to make someone look small or something like that. I want you to go back to the last 5 manifestos and the last 5 budgets. And you tell me how much of that has been implemented. You see, I remember years ago they were talking about a causeway to Chagaramas. They were talking about a highway from San Fernando to Queenstown. There are all these magnanimous plans. The difference with us is that we promise you, Trinidad and Tobago, that we will implement the things that we promise. And that's something you have to look forward to.
And depending on from that, implementing the things that we promise is something that's right here in the political domain and the public domain that we've been talking about, the Cuban doctor. And this question, you have to ask yourself, what is this question really about? Are we asking the real question? In 2002, Cuban doctors were actually brought in Trinidad and Tobago as a temporary measure. They weren't meant to be here. They weren't meant to be here all the time. It was a temporary measure by the Manning administration in order for doctors to come in where there was a dearth and need for people and specialists. While in the interim, we were supposed to prepare our own doctors to fill those places. You're asking about promises. What has happened to those promises to our own doctors? Our own doctors that have any jobs, our own doctors that have specialists abroad. What are the real questions? We are not asking the correct questions. So you ask yourself, why is the government so indolent and sloppy? Our next speaker will offer some insights into the medical aspects of it.
Isn't it a fantastic thing that while we're talking about doctors, the next speaker is going to be a medical doctor, a businessman, an entrepreneur, a social media advocate. He's always there talking to the people all the time. He represents the next generation of leadership, a voice for the youth, and not just the voice for the youth, an intelligent voice for the youth. And he is the NTA's candidate for San Fernando West. And he's ready to stand up now, and with your support, he will be the next MP for San Fernando West. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome nobody else than Dr. Sarah.
Which political party needs to hear this, but don't worry, I will do the work so you don't have to wind up yourself. Let's have a round of applause for the NTA guys. Now, it seems like the team for politics in Trinidad and Tobago over the last couple of years has been the greatest bend over. But the only people that seem to be doing the bend over in Trinidad and Tobago are the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. They say tighten your belt. But how much more can you tighten your belt? Any more than that, the belt will bust. They say they don't have enough money to give you a raise. Yet still, politicians from all the different parties, they're getting a raise. Each side, any side they turn. Some of them even saying they reject it outright. They don't want to have nothing to do with this raise thing, but they accept it anyway. But I'm sorry that they are forced to accept this against their will. I wish no raise in salary against anyone who doesn't want to accept it. That's one option, but you will never hear them say that. Now I have a message for politicians. Enough is enough. I am prepared to stand with the people and for the people. Because transformation isn't just about winning elections. It's about securing the future of our children, our community, and also our nation. Now the problem has always been the difference between short-term promises and long-term solutions. Every time election comes around, they're giving out hampers, they're paving roads. When they smell asphalt, you know election time is around the corner. And everybody turns into Santa Claus. Trinidad has to be the only place in the entire world where we have Christmas every year, but we also have it every 5 years as an extra. Because everybody gets something. The last donation, they gave $100 million TT dollars to a non-profit organization. Do you hear that term? Non-profit organization. They're telling you the economy doesn't have enough money, but they're donating $100 million to a non-profit organization. They are telling you that you need to pay property tax because the local government system doesn't have any money in it, but they're donating $100 million. And you have to ask yourself, where is that money coming from? But what happens after election? We have the same failing cycle of the poor education system. The economy is crashing. The leaders that we have in Trinidad and Tobago are more focused with power than they are with progress. And this is why we need transformative work in Trinidad and Tobago to go beyond the election period. Now the vision has always been one of positive thinking. If we want to move any further in life as a country, we have to stop thinking about 5-year cycles. We have to start thinking about generational cycles. Because when one political party starts a project and they come out of office and another one goes in, they immediately stop what they're doing right there. And that project gets to a halt. And I'll give you an example. Look how long the Cuba Children's Hospital was open. And look at the date, this was almost 10 years ago, and it's only of recent times that it was now on full commission. Yeah? Now, it's most important for us as a people that we stop asking the question, what is in it for us? And start asking the right questions. Look at the future. What is it for children or grandchildren and Trinidad and Tobago as a whole over the next couple of years to come? This is what the transformative mindset has to look like. Now, there's a formula for transformation, and I will give you an example because I'm a medical doctor. I will give you a medical example. In the healthcare system, when you go to the accident emergency, you sit down there and you wait anywhere from about 10, 15, maybe even up to 20 hours. It is very unlikely that you will go to the accident emergency and come out the same day that you left. It's a 2-day, 1 to 2 day process, the complete time. Now, people in the accident and emergency wait long hours. And you look at the newspaper and you see 500 doctors don't have jobs. They're unemployed and looking for work. And then on the other hand, you go in the accident emergency and they're always short staff. Now, those two things don't go together. You can't have doctors that are unemployed and you're short staff at the same time. These doctors are looking for work. So the truth is, they're not connecting the dots for you guys. The central government does not fund the RHs or give them enough money to hire the doctors. So they make it look like there's a shortage and they don't give them the money to hire the doctors. Now, everybody knows how bad the healthcare system is in Trinidad and Tobago. If you were to take that same money and invest it in improving the service, that will do citizens of Trinidad and Tobago a benefit. Today, they opened, or was it yesterday? Was it yesterday? They opened a new block in Port of Spain General Hospital. The cost of that block was $1.3 billion. Now, let's put that into perspective, right? It takes about $240 million to hire 1,000 people to run a hospital for a year. That is hiring doctors, nurses, attendants, anything you want to hire. You can hire everybody under the sun. You can hire for a whole year for $240 million in the medical field for a hospital. They spend now $1.3 billion. If they had used that money, and this is an example, if they had used that money, for every one doctor and every one nurse you see right now, you will see 6 more if they use that same money and improve the system that we have in Trinidad and Tobago. The problem is, they don't want to invest in the service because the service doesn't give kickbacks. Service doesn't improve for everybody. It doesn't help them in any way. The kickbacks come from building things. Every political party in Trinidad and Tobago that came on stream, and I'm saying all within the last 15 years, have built a hospital or built something of a hospital. But when they build the hospital, they all cut the ribbon when the hospital is halfway open. And you know what they do after that? They go into election mode and they wait till the next group of politicians come in. And you know what they say? The new group of politicians say, I don't want to have nothing to do with the hospital that they built. If they built it, they should have staffed it. And then it's the people of Trinidad and Tobago that suffer. Every election, they tell you they want to fix the healthcare system. But instead of real solutions, they basically put a sign in an old building and they call it progress. Now, I don't know how much you all might remember, but this one has stayed in my mind, this image has stayed in my mind, where it took 4 ministers to open a bus shed and they call it a transformation hub. I would never let that image settle in my mind. But I am here to say that that is not transformation. Real change requires a forward level of thinking. If we truly care about the next generation, particularly with healthcare, our healthcare system has to reflect that. We have to start investing in preventive strategies. Everybody knows that cancer is one of the biggest things. Everybody has a relative or somebody they know that is affected by cancer of some sort. And cancer comes in 4 stages. So the first stage is the earliest and the 4th is the worst. Currently, as it stands in Trinidad and Tobago, when somebody is detected with cancer, they detect them very late, in stage 2 and stage 3. We need to start investing some of this money into detecting it at an early stage. and we will save money because the earlier stage cancers do not require radiation, they do not require chemotherapy. You don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get these extra things if you're detected early. So this is a typical example of why prevention is better than cure. You need to start to strengthen the workforce, particularly in the healthcare sector. All of this money that they spend building a building, you know, I have to ask the question, they didn't have the money to staff the buildings we have right now with the healthcare system. But they built one for $1.3 billion, and you have to ask them, where are they going to get the money to staff that? The budget for healthcare in Trinidad and Tobago over the last successive couple of years was $5.5 billion, $6 billion, $6.2 billion, and keep going up. But when you add money to it, and you expect next year that the budget will be higher, because now you have to pay how much ever hundreds or thousands of people to run this new hospital, the budget is going to be $7 billion and $8 billion. It's just going to continue climbing. Because they would rather open a next hospital and run it in a substandard way than to use the hospital system that we have right now and redirect our resources and not have to build a physical infrastructure. But that is where they get the kickbacks. That's where the money comes from. And you will always realize they will do the ribbon cutting right around election time. Add 1 and 1 and they get 2. You can figure it out. So I agree with you. The transformation is not just about winning elections. It's ensuring that when our children look back at this moment right here, right now in history, they will realize that you were part of the transformation process that started all. So I want you all to give yourself a round of applause. Now I stand strong, I stand ready, and I stand together with you all, and we will begin to transform our country. So St. Joseph, I want to conclude by asking you all tonight, are you ready to demand a better healthcare system in Trinidad and Tobago? Yeah. Are you ready to think beyond tomorrow and start thinking about the future generations of children and grandchildren? Yeah. Are you ready to move past the bend over politics and start standing strong for transformation? Because if you are, then I promise you, I will do the work so that you don't have to wild up yourself. Thank you, St. Joseph.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So you hear that? You don't have to wind up yourself, he will do the work. The only thing you have to do is on election day, go in that box, put that finger and ENT and hope. Just remember that. That's all you need to do. And we will do the rest of the work. I see, you heard from Doc was saying something that, it is not about people, we have enough doctors, but we don't have money, finance, we can't pay for the doctors, the young doctors. And we hear our present Prime Minister telling us, if the dragon don't dance, look up.
Well, you see, the problem is really management. If we manage our resources properly, then we will definitely be able to hire all the people that we require to have a better healthcare system. I want to just say now, though, that a good friend of mine used to say to me all the time, he says, Alvarez, there's some people who feel that they're too good to be in politics. So you see them on the newspaper writing, you see them on the social media writing, and you say, well, if you are so concerned about your country, if you really love your country, if you think about your family, if you think about your children, if you think that we deserve better than we are getting, participate. Come out and do something. The next speaker is someone who has been in, he really don't need to come here tonight because he's a man of the cloth, one of those holy people.
But I want to interject there and say something. It means to us that he's, as I said before, when I came on the platform, this platform is by people of integrity, not people that are criminally convicted, not people that are being investigated for bribery and corruption. That is why we have these types of people.
And this guy is the Field Secretary and Public Affairs Director for Caribbean Union Conference. He's a graduate from the University of the Southern Caribbean in theology, and he has a master's in public health. But there's something else about Pastor Clive Doughty. He has always been there with us among the ordinary people. always that voice saying, listen, Trinidad and Tobago, we can do better. And not only we can, but we must do better. So let's put your hands together and let's invite on stage Pastor Clive now.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You know, brother chairpersons, I want to thank, I got here this evening and I got a call from attorney Hamel-Smith and he said, Pastor, would you be a guest speaker tonight? And I told him yes. And I told him why I said yes. So, Brother Captain Gary, Dr. Ali, who spoke earlier on, all right, Brother Hamel-Smith, I want to say that I sense something in the atmosphere tonight. I don't know if you agree with me. Could I say it again? I have 15 minutes and a minute gone already. I sense something in the atmosphere tonight. And I won't take all my time because I know there are other speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, and I see a lot of young people, I've entitled my short presentation, Hope for the Nation. As a science teacher, I'm not a doctor like the one who spoke just now. As a science teacher, I know the value of hope. There is a new term in medical and psychological literature. It's a complex term. It is called psychoneuroimmunology, which says how you think, and I'm coming to a point that Marsha made, how you think influences your immune system. If you have positive thoughts, it influences your ability to fight disease positively. If you have negative thoughts, it influences it negatively. They say people who have positive thinking, they recover from third-degree burns faster than those who don't have positive thinking. The cancer goes into remission. Even Miss Forge takes cancer faster than those who engage in negative thinking. And Marsha said something tonight. I can't refer to all the speakers are great. But Marsha said something tonight as Walker about how people, play with your mind to make you feel there's no room for another group. No room. It wouldn't work. And I am saying I appreciated what she said there. Because if you think, I feel the best thing to happen to the country is if we could have a third force that is solid, that receives support. And it will help discipline the two major political parties. I am no political scientist. I am a pastor. And a humble pastor, I hope. But I want to say that I want to speak to three issues tonight that I feel is asphyxiating the politics, strangling it. One is, I come to the issue of campaign finance reform. Every pastor, every pundit, every imam should be concerned about that. Because if we are not concerned about that, those who give campaign finance reform, and let me talk about something else that is related to campaign finance reform. The Inter-American Development Bank, and listen to me carefully here, it's education time. The Inter-American Development Bank says that 1/3, of the economy, 1/3 comes from the underground. That's the drug trade, that's the illegal gambling. 1/3 of our gross domestic product filters into the economy. If the gross domestic product is $180 billion spending, that is 60 billion. Now the IADB, they don't live here. I live here. And I've been fighting drugs for over 40 years. And especially the godfathers of the drug trade. I've been threatened more than 12 times to be killed. Because I don't see the problem as being the boys behind the bridge and the boys who are actually doing the shooting and the killing. It's those who own them, those who pay them. That is the real problem. And what I find in this country, and I've said it before on numerous platforms, what I find in this country is that when you're in government, you don't want campaign finance reform. But as you get into opposition, you want campaign finance reform. And that is because the election process in this country is based a whole lot on corrupt blood money. And may I tell you, a lawless, indisciplined, and corrupt nation cannot fight crime. And that is why the murder rate keeps skyrocketing. Alright, and I want to underscore that. A lawless, indisciplined, and corrupt nation cannot fight crime. So therefore, to this Grand Alliance, please be very careful about who you take money for. You can't talk about the solution and be part of the problem. I want to underscore that. And people are telling me, Pastor, it can't change. It will never change. I object to that. And I want to talk about 3 people quickly. Nelson Mandela. I went to his cell in South Africa. And for 27 years he spent in that cell. And he never gave up hope. Kept his vision. Was consistent. Was committed. Was dedicated. Let me go to Mahatma Gandhi. Alright? Mahatma Gandhi says you don't kill your enemies, you kill your desire to kill. I want to tell you this country is the politics is too divisive. It has too much revenge and hatred in it. And we have got to change that. To change that, you have to have a new mindset. I want to underscore that. You have to have eagle vision. You know the eagle, I have 8 more minutes. The eagle, I'm watching my clock all the time. You know a preacher could go long. But the eagle has absolute far-range vision. The eagle flies alone and flies high. The eagle, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this very carefully here. I want you to hear it. They love the storm. When the eagle encounters a storm, it uses the turbulent winds to make it soar and go higher. That is the eagle. When the eagle is getting weak, and that's the second point about the eagle, to hope and NTA and CRN and all those who will join. And Steve, I like what you said. What you said, we must have the best from every party if we have to move the country forward. You mustn't be prejudiced against anybody. You know, some people think, all right, that they're thinking, but all they're doing is carefully rearranging their prejudices. And prejudice and racism is hurting us in this society. And there are politicians who exploit that. Because they feel once they exploit that, they'll be in charge for a long time. And tonight, what we have to say, and what I have to say in my last 5 minutes here, is that we must have the courage to fight the aristocratic, alright, narco godfathers in this country. We have got to have the courage to fight them. We have got to have the courage to be willing to do what Dietrich Bonhoeffer says, a Lutheran pastor. He says when God calls us, he bids us come and die. When God calls us, he bids us come and die. You know the power to fight Adolf Hitler? You know the power to do that? A preacher, the one I just quoted, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, he had the courage. And there were 2 German students who were Germans, but they defended the Jews. And they were students of Munich University. Alright? And they had the power to go out and Hitler to defend the other side. You know what this country needs? And let me tell you one time, 4 minutes to go, you know what this country needs? It needs Hindus defending Muslims and Muslims defending Christians.
I take 5 minutes more.
Alright, thank you so much. Well, I love that. If blogging you is wrong, I don't want to be right. I want to say that, ladies and gentlemen. And let me repeat that. We need Hindus loving Christians and Christians loving Muslims. We defending the other side and Christians loving everybody. That is what we need. And I want to repeat that. We don't kill our enemies, we kill the desire to kill. But you know, George Orwell made a statement. You know what he said? The further society drifts from the truth, the more it hates those who speak it. So this Grand Alliance, if you stand for truth, if you stand for integrity, as I heard tonight, if you stand, hello mercy, for righteousness, there are people who will hate you, and there are people who will tell you, you're wasting your time. You will always have corruption. You will always have campaign financiers who control the drug trade. And I am saying, you hear lie? That is lie. We need to depend on pure resources. We need to have a heart for everybody. Religion must not divide us, and ethnicity must not divide us. And I want to warn you, this Grand Alliance, there are people who will try to use race and religion to divide you, because they don't want real meaningful change in the society. They don't want to understand that happy are the poor in heart, for they shall see God. And happy are they who hunger and thirst after his righteousness, for they shall be filled. 12 times. 12 times. I should have been shot and killed. I fought people, I told Shady. I fought people at the Northwest Drug Cartel. Ladies and gentlemen, who believe they own the country. But let me tell you something, the IADB says 1/3 of the gross domestic product is the equivalent of the underground economy. I dispute what the IADB says, because unlike them, I live here, and I'm fighting this thing for 40 years. It's about 2/3 the drug trade in this country. It's worth about 2/3 of the gross domestic product. That is why we don't have the courage. We feel in this country we can't do without the godfathers of the drug trade. We can't do without the money that comes from cocaine. And that is blood money. That is sip up and it's evil comes to the world. You should be the preacher tonight. It is evil. And I want to emphasize that. It is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious evil. That is exactly what it is. And that's why I'm saying to you, we must have the courage to stand up and take over our country. You know where our country is right now? Let me tell you where our country is right now. We are facing the reality that Trinidad and Tobago can become Haiti number 2. Yes, I'm telling you, that is where we are. 2 of my church members were shot and killed in 2022. Aruna de Osaran and her husband. And the police blocked me from seeing her in San Fernando General Hospital. Because you know why they blocked me? Because they are assassins in this country who are protected by big shots, who are protected by their friends, by the hierarchy of our security institutions. And that is what you have. And that's a serious thing. But you see, I have no fear. Because I like Dietrich Bonhoeffer, not a Seventh-day Adventist pastor, but I cross the divide. I don't believe in the racial divide and the religious divide. If we have to save the country, all of us must come together. The Baptists, the Buddhists, the Hindu, I remember I'm telling you, my dear friends, the Pentecostals, all of us must come together and make a difference. And I want to tell you, the road ahead will not be easy. Because if you want to be a success in governance, you have to have the courage to arrest the godfathers of the drug trade, who believe they are untouchable. We have to have the courage to reform the education system. We have to have the courage to reform the Constitution and include proportional representation. I am serious about that. A plural society cannot run the archaic Westminster system from England. It has to have, ladies and gentlemen, effective constitutional reform. We must have parliamentarian recall. We must have that. And by the way, this back pocket, archaic, anachronistic system. Let me tell you something, brethren, about our Prime Minister having the date for election in his back pocket. It's wickedness. It is absolute wickedness. We must have the courage to change that, ladies and gentlemen. We have got to have the courage to tell the fathers they must have responsibility for their sons. We must have the courage, ladies and gentlemen, to embark on a national adoption program for all the young people. We must launch a massive education and civics program in our schools. We must adopt communities. That is exactly what we must have. And I want to say unto you tonight, in my closing 2 minutes, you won't tell me I have another 5 minutes. So I have 2 more minutes. I want to tell you something. Success is possible. I want to say that we can reform the country. Can I quote a Bible text? Can I quote a Bible text? 2 Chronicles 7:14 says, if my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, I will hear from heaven and I will heal the land. This land needs healing. I want you to understand that. And you know, I am not scared. I can die at any time. 12 times they try to kill me. And by the way, 10 of the 12 who tried to kill me, they're dead now. It seems to me that after one to die, proper grammar, you have to decide to kill me. But I am saying to you, my faith has found a resting place. And in closing, let me quote Psalm 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He's my refuge and my fortress, my God in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver me from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover me with His feathers, and under His wings shall I trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Listen to this carefully. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shall thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. May God bless all of us. Let us go forward and let us save the nation. God bless you.
Wow, Steve, what an amazing, amazing speech there. And Pastor Dotton, I would like to commend you also for your fight against the drug trade. I myself, I can't imagine how you did it. I have 30 decades fighting the drug trade and that's really military. So I can just imagine how daunting it must have been for you as a civilian fighting the drug.
Well, I tell you something. The two things I want you to keep in mind tonight. Marsha, in her contribution, talked about the numbers. Keep those numbers in mind. And Pastor Dutton spoke about the financing of campaigns. What I want to say to you is that right now as it stands, a campaign costs somewhere around $50 million if you're going to continue just doing what we do. You know, jerseys and drinks and stuff. But tonight, Pastor is saying, listen, our vote is important and it don't have to cost that much. All it costs is a commitment to country. All it costs is for you to keep focused on your family, on your children, on your country. And no 50 million or no money coming from higher up, from the drug trade or anywhere could buy your vote if you love your family and your country. So let them spend their money, take it and throw it to the side, because your vote, nobody but you and your God go into that room. And if you do that, remember what the pastor said, you're protected by the Most High. Keep that in mind. Keep focused on where you need to be.
Pastor also mentioned something to me that that was fearful. Something that touched my heart. I did a little video on it. And even speaking about where are we going to go? Are we becoming a failed state? We are seeing our institutions failing, falling apart. The AG's office, the police service, the bastions that are holding up our justice system. Said something. We may be going there where Haiti is. We don't want to be there, people. We can bring this back. We, as this assembly of people here, can make that transformation and defend our nation from becoming a failed state. And now we are going to be moving on to where the A is rare. When leadership happens, when leadership comes into play, we are going to be introducing some people that have held some of the highest offices in our nation. I myself was the aide-de-camp to one of them.
Well, before we do that, I want to, there's a public service announcement. With the driver of PED 8227, remove your vehicle immediately, please. The police has asked that the driver of PED 8227 remove your vehicle. Now, the next speaker is, I am proud to say, a friend of mine. And you know, when we sit in a hope meeting, one of the leaders who was the deputy leader who is not here tonight for different reasons, he would always say to me, he says, Steve, some people genuinely believe that they're too big, they're too important to participate in this process. But here we have this man who was president of the Senate, this man who acted as the president of Trinidad and Tobago, this man who has one of the most successful law businesses in Trinidad and Tobago, this man who gives of his time to live in Waters community and serve the people from the ground up. He has said, listen, I am not just going to sit down and watch and complain. I'm going to be part of the solution. And tonight it gives me great pleasure to bring on stage the political leader of hope, the honorable, wonderful, fantastic person in the name of Timothy Hamel-Smith. Thank you.
And in particular, of course, after that wonderful address by Pastor Dotton, You know, it's a hard act to follow. But I'm sure that he touched the heart and he touched spirits. And we are all raring to go. Not to go home, you know, to go and vote. The speaker who will follow me is well known as the man in Trinidad and Tobago who best knows how to deal with crime, how to handle the security forces, so we bring an end to that feeling of danger that we all experience on a daily basis. But tonight, you know, and it is so vital because nothing else can happen to Trinidad and Tobago. The economy can't grow, health can't do well, roads can't be fixed unless we get crime under control. But more than getting it under control, I am going to tell you that we have to break the cycle of poverty, the cycle of crime, cycle that will continue to draw out more and more criminals on a daily basis. Even if you got rid of it now, there are more emerging on a daily basis. And therefore, our policies must seek to deal with the underlying causes of crime, of poverty, and inequality in our society. Unless we do that, we will continue to suffer from crime, from drug lord, and we need to start the journey, because the journey is not overnight. I'm not telling you there's a magic bullet. But if you don't start the journey today, then we will continue and reach that destination called Haiti 2 that Pastor Dottin has told us about. So what it is happening in our society that churns out all of this poverty, this grinding poverty, the gang and the crime and the guns on a daily basis, the murders. But when we look at the fact that 66% of our youth come out from education and do not pass. We have those who go into the secondary school system and drop out. And of course, there are those who don't get a full pass at the end. And if you put all of that together, it is 66% of our people, of our students, who are falling under the radar. What can you expect if we continue to do that, other than to have people looking for a living, attracted to crime, attracted to gangs? And that is the entry point in which we have to make a difference. We have changed the education system. Not just change, we have to re-engineer it all together. And to re-engineer that, you need to break it down into its component parts and start afresh. To break that cycle that has been created, and you wonder why it is that we reach here. You know, Lloyd Best in 2004, he said that the policies that we had introduced, in fact, he referred to the PNM had introduced, was an abomination in the way that it strangled the poor. It kept them, just for the purpose of winning elections, it kept them deprived, it kept them uneducated. And today it is we who have to reverse that process. And we fail to do it. If we fail to do it, we are in danger. We are in danger. So we have to break that cycle.
one of the areas that you may not have thought of, but we say represents a very fundamental aspect. And I talk to you now about infancy. You have to understand an infant in the womb and an infant at birth is born and grows. 80% of its neurons in the brain connect by 3 years old. By 3 years old, we could have lost our infants to a purposeful, well-meaning life. If they face toxic stress, and that is what is happening in our communities. Young people are experiencing toxic stress that is being passed on to infants, and their brains, their neurons in the brains do not meet. And do you know what happens when that occurs? It means that when those infants grow into primary school, they sit down there and they cannot understand the teacher. They see their peers. Their peers are understanding, they're doing well, and they become frustrated naturally. They become angry. They start to get into fights because they just cannot learn, because toxic stress has damaged the neurons in their brain. And so how do you intervene in this process where these infants suffer like this, going to primary school, and by the time they reach age 11, all they're ready for is to join a gang. They're not ready to continue their education. They're already being attracted into it as the only methodology by which they will feel some comfort. They will feel as if they could achieve something through the gang. And we have to break that cycle. So how do we break the cycle? We say, and this is what the science tells us coming out of Harvard and Stanford and other universities, that one of the things we need to do is to provide a stable, safe environment for these infants, so that they experience love, care, and attention, that they are cherished, that they can bond with a caregiver. And if they fail to have that experience in this infancy, this 3-year period, there will be exceptions, but they can be doomed. Their future could be doomed from that moment on. So what we say that needs to be done is that the government, our government, we in government need to support NGOs, FBOs, who will undertake to set up nurseries and daycare centers within challenged communities. You see, in the rich communities, that's how children get a head start, as it were, because in those tender ages, under 3, they are experienced that nursery care, that love, attention. They're cherished and loved. They are provided with stimulating toys, because unless you do that, that's how the brain grows, or it gets stimulated. It then experiences creativity to its max. And so if you're going to break that cycle, that is one of the entry points. But beyond infancy, of course, is primary school. And unless we introduce into the curriculum of our primary schools character education, civics, unless they have, even at that primary level, exposure to tech pocket education, to understand that there is not one way only that children learn. They all have different intelligences. And here in Trinidad and Tobago, we say the children must fit into the education system. But what should be happening? The education system should be molded around these children.
so that they can experience, they can achieve that God-given talent that they were endowed with from birth. They can become more than they are allowed to, right now to do. And they can flourish. And we will get a new generation. And if you do that, it will take 5 years, maybe 10 years to break that cycle. So the children coming out of primary school will be exposed to tech-pop education. Because, we think that perhaps that's would be for later on. But even in those days, at that very, that formative period, the children are exposed to both academic and tech-pop education. They will learn, they will be attracted, they will know, they will sense what best allows them to fulfill their wishes, their inner desires. And in our secondary school, we need that too. We need character education. We need a value system that is driven through. And we must develop that. There's no place like Trinidad and Tobago that has the music, the songs. And people will tell you, music can touch the heart and spirit like nothing else. I'm sure if you think back, you remember songs from your childhood because it is instilled in your heart. We can do that in the secondary education system as well. We can use music, we can use mascots to teach children. Children are endeared to these fuzzy animal type creatures who come as mascots. And we must create opportunities for them so that they can accomplish their goals, their life dream. And that is the only way in which you're going to break that cycle of crime, that cycle of corruption, that cycle that endears people that feel they have no other choice. We have to provide those choices. And you say to me, you might think, this tech-pop education. I'll tell you a story. When I was acting as president, President A.N.R. Robinson had died. His daughter came to see me in the parliament. And one of the things she told me then that has stayed with me is that she was a teacher herself in a challenged community. And what she did, the opportunity was given to them to learn coding and software programming. They brought in some person to teach them how to do those things. One of the things that occurred is those students who had really dropped out, they were physically there, but they had dropped out of school. They achieved the best. We treat them as dropouts, and yet that is the future that we're looking at. AI is another industrial revolution of tremendous dimensions, and which allowing our students to miss the boat when that is a crucial time that gives them the opportunity to learn tech-pop. Because the jobs that will exist 10 years from now don't exist today. So how are you going to be teaching this whole thing about how to learn about these things, but in fact those jobs will not exist? And the government talks about it. There is a policy that says in 2023 we will have tech-pop education in school. Has it really happened? And unless we make that happen, we get further and further down the road where students fall out of the system and get attracted to gang as the only way that they can survive, as the only way they can feel a sense
of love, a sense of attention. And we, one of the things that happened at independence, as you know, we created these watchwords. We said discipline, tolerance, and production. And we dust it off once a year and think, that is something that we do. We need to drive home those values. We have to change the culture. In the business world, you see that culture eats strategy for breakfast. And that's why creating a culture that where people feel passionate about Trinidad and Tobago is important, so that we can grow up as we get young people coming into the field. They feel part of Trinidad and Tobago. They have a desire to change and make it better. Imagine it, as I mentioned, the music that we have, the creative energies that are there. That, if you press those values to enter into their hearts and minds, it will be transformative. It will allow us to have a new culture. And one of the things that I experienced working in the energy industry, we had acquired this company, and I was on board. One of the things we found is our safety record was absolutely abysmal. Right there in Point Research, there were 13 lost time injuries per million man-hours. It was totally unacceptable. We said we have to change that. They laughed at us. They said, Chinese don't have to know safety. We're not interested in safety. We said, no. We will make a change. And we were able, within 5 years, it took time to change the culture. We were able to get down to 0 LTIs in 5 years' time. So don't tell me that Chinese like it, so we can do better. You know what it takes? It takes leadership. That is the difference. So here in the energy sector, we have people working in a first world environment, full of productivity, discipline, tolerance, safety. We have that there. But we can mirror that within the whole of Trinidad and Tobago with the right leadership. And the right leadership will allow us all to a country that is more productive. We can then have an economy that grows using our own energies, our own creativity, our own adaptation of AI. So today I am asking each of you, we think that we have no power. I think you have power. You have friends, you have power. Your family, you have power. Because you must touch the hearts and minds of every individual with whom you come into contact. If each of you tonight made 10 friends who are willing to support the alliance, that would be what? 30,000 overnight. And those 30,000 touch 10 more. We can do it. Pastor Doctrine has told us we can be successful. We put our minds, our heart, and our energies to it. The People's Alliance will succeed and will bring good governance to Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
we deserve a party. And you have that party tonight. You know, when Nicoline was talking about walking the ground, and Marsha was talking about walking the ground, they both spoke about an experience from the people that we know, each of us here tonight know it's real, that it's not just old talk. There's tremendous discontent with the government of Trinidad and Tobago. There's discontent with the opposition of Trinidad and Tobago. And people are looking for a viable alternative because they find it difficult to go for another 5 years with what they have been experiencing for the last 10 years. And there's a bit of discontent in the people who are there simply because they have been in opposition. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight you have that opportunity, because I want to go back to what Marshall was saying in his song. After you worked so hard and after you suffered so much, you deserve a party. And tonight we are saying this is the party to take us forward. An alliance of parties coming together of all our people. So tonight, before I close, I just want to say again, we need every member of the PNM who feels that they need a better government. We need your vote. We need every member of the UNC who feels that there's discontent among the rank. We need your vote. We need every religion, every creed, every race. We need everyone to say, listen, the time has come to look at our country and fix it. And I'll tell you something, if you looked at how we manage those carnival all-inclusives, if you look at how we manage those carnival bands, you know that we have the talent, you know that we have the ability, and you know that we can make things work.
Correct, Steve. If you notice, one of the common themes we have had all through the night is leadership. What is lacking in Trinidad and Tobago is leadership. We've heard about crime, we heard about finances, we heard about all those other things. But leadership is the common thread that binds everything together. And just recently you've seen our Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, talk about he's not going to go back to the US because he's defending our democracy because of visas issues. And then you heard today the UK government has also put visa restrictions on Trinidad and Tobago. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand something about these visa restrictions. That don't happen just like that. That don't come like a thief in the night. It means that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has failed us. The leadership in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has failed. It means the Ministry of National Security has failed us. The leadership in the Ministry of National Security has failed because the UK government would have definitely, through our diplomatic means, told us, listen, here's something is wrong. And there's a release on that, but it's long. We want to talk about it tonight, but the common theme is leadership. So I would like now to invite Ms. Savita Peer, the National Transformations candidate for Tunapuna, to introduce our next speaker, all about leadership.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, good evening. I could spend the next few minutes listing this man's bio, but he would not want me to do that. Because everyone knows he is a former captain in the army, National Security Advisor, Minister of National Security, and Commissioner of Police. Please welcome the political leader of the National Transformation Alliance, the Honorable Mr. Gary Griffith.
Thank you, that DJ just mashed up the song. Hey DJ, you can spoil ice, you know. Play it. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, DJ, you're trying. It's okay, DJ. Good evening to all here tonight. To the media, good evening. To the 3rd constituency, good evening. And a special good evening to those who refer to us as Papa Parties. I need you who have referred to us as Papa Parties, open your big eyes tonight and look what Papa Parties have done tonight. The NTA party, the Hope party, the CRN party, we are the party. We are going to be the dominant force in the upcoming general election. I want you all to believe. When I was Commissioner of Police, I showed what police could do. And I give you the assurance, as of today, we are going to show to each and every person in this country what the third parties can do. Whatever we do continues to dictate the outcome of a general election. This is not a rent-a-crowd. Notice you're not seeing maxi taxis with persons being told and given a little money at the side. This is actual support that you're getting here. We don't have to rent anyone. And I wish to thank each and every one of you all for being here tonight. A special welcome to members of the Congress of the People, Wendell Eversley and others. And the reason I want to make a special welcome, Wendell Eversley, who's here tonight, this is not a breakaway group of the COP. The Congress of the People is a well-respected party. In fact, that was my first political party. And unfortunately, the Congress of the People may have lost its way. And that is why when they had 148,000 votes in 2007, it went down to 467 votes because certain political parties decided to take advantage of the generosity of the third parties, the bridge constituency, the floating voters, the independent voters, the 9.4 voters. They call us what they want. But the fact of the matter is, we will always have a part to play in the governance of Trinidad and Tobago. And unfortunately, because the COP was used by another political party, it caused the demise of the COP. I wish to welcome my comrade Prakash Ramadan. Welcome back to the political battlefield. It is hoped that Mr. Ramadan would have learned from his mistakes, or the mistakes of the past, where one political party tried to dominate and take control of the COP. And that's what caused them to move from 148,000 to 467. And it is hoped that you will understand that never again must any major political party ever use any third party. We are not here to help another party get into government. We are here to represent you, the individuals of the Bridge constituency, to make sure you are well represented. So when people speak about we are here and we are splitting the votes, I'll come to splitting the votes shortly. But I just want to get back to a point with my partner Prakash. The only thing I want to advise Prakash, he continues to say that the Congress of the People is the third largest political party. Now, I don't know if poor Prakash did his maths in August when he went to school. But you cannot use the votes of a party 18 years ago to refer to your party now. If you got 148,000 votes in 2007, the last time you took part in the election, you got 467. So if you're calling that the third largest party, then it means that the National Alliance for Reconstruction, who got 127,000 votes 34 years ago, should be the fourth largest party. Or the Organization for National Reconstruction, that got 91,000 votes 44 years ago, is the fifth largest party. No.
We are not here about size. Size doesn't matter. What it is, what it has to do with us understanding the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And that's why I'm pleased to be with people such as Timothy Hamel-Smith, Steve Alvarez, CRM. This is not any one party being bigger than the other. We are here to ensure equal representation, equal respect, and by doing that, we will have good governance. I also heard in a political meeting on Monday, a political leader said that third parties or smaller parties do not vote for them. The sad thing, or the funny thing about it, is that I promised I was going to call Kamala's name tonight, but a certain Kamala was part of that third party in 1991. You all may not be aware. She was part of the National Alliance for Reconstruction. She was part of the smaller party. She was part of the split voting party. And she lost the deposit, I think, by the Windsor barrier. So she understood then the importance of that bridge constituency. So to come now and state that we are irrelevant and we are here to split the votes. The difference with the Congress of the People in 2007 is that the PNM and the UNC had two very powerful parties. They were well respected with two very powerful leaders. Fast track to 18 years later, now we come to 2025, where the COP was able to get 148,000 votes, fighting against two very powerful political parties, well respected and unified. Both political parties, the PNM and the UNC, have never been fragmented as they are today. You don't know who's the political leader of the PNM come next week. As for the UNC, they're just living by the dozens. So it means that this is our time. We have the opportunity. All I ask you all to do is believe. And when anyone tries to mislead you to say that a third party can never win, points to note. There's a man called Jack Warner. Like him or don't like him. There was a party called the ILP. And he beat the UNC outright in their safest seat. And that shows that the third party can do it. The splitting of the vote, I ask you all to be our representatives. Anytime anyone speaks to you and says you're splitting the vote, explain how you could split a vote. A vote belongs to you. You're a citizen of this country. Because you're not from Deep South, or you're from Port of Spain, or you're not in red, or you're not in yellow. You have a right as much as anyone to select who you want. So anytime they tell you they're splitting the votes, tell them they're the bastard out of place. The PNM have a solidified base. Let me clarify. And that solidified base, regardless of what, they have 188,000 persons voted for the PNM in 1986 when they were at their worst at 33-3. That is how powerful the PNM is. So jump by jump low, the PNM has their base. The UNC also has their base. But what we are seeing right now is a time where I think every single citizen in the country can admit that this has been the worst government the country has ever seen, the PNM. But then you're looking to the other side and you're saying to yourself, should we really vote for that? And that is where we come in. You have a choice. If you want to remove this government, you have a choice between an alliance of parties comprising the NTA, Pope, CRN, and others will follow, or a UNC alliance. And the reason I say a UNC alliance is because when you vote for that, you have to vote with what goes with it. What goes with it is an individual who is like the demon of politics. He continues to say the most disgusting things about women. He went and stated that every single person in the PNM was burned, similar to how their member of parliament was burned. He calls people canal cops, latrine rats. He gets sued every week. And now if you vote for that UNC alliance, you're going to put that individual in parliament to see what he wants against you and not be sued. I'm not calling Philip Alexander name, but it's for you want to understand, when you vote for the UNC alliance, you're voting for that. I give the assurance what we have is a standard, a higher standard. And let me tell you something, the way I am, my style of leadership is one, people may not be aware that in the United States there have been 47 US presidents, 31 have military service. And there's a reason for that. I'm not just saying that military service is beyond and end all. But being in the military, it gave us that ability to understand that you do not have to be the brightest person in the room at all times. You do not have to be the person that will make all the decisions.
when you're a political leader or prime minister and you only have yes people around you, you are going to fail. You could walk around naked and everybody will say, yes, yes, and then say, yes, yes, you're looking good. That is not leadership. That is failure. When you have weak people around you and you make that mistake, the country is going to fail. And that's what we do not want. My style of leadership, I do not want yes people around me. And because of that, today, two of my very senior members of the MTA, Lauren and Christine, thank you very much for moving me. They briefed me and they advised me and said, Gary, the country is fed up of the gutter politics. The country is fed up of us going on the platform and attacking, discrediting. What we are here to do is to build, to produce, to show the ideas, the policies, the plans, and the political will to make this a great country. So that's what we intend to do. And by doing that, I want to ensure that the people around me, even if I am a prime minister or a political leader, I will not know everything. I will not be the expert in anything, in everything. One thing, however, I am prepared to be the dumbest person in the room if it is I can get the best people around me. And that is what we need. We need to have the best people around us regardless of your political affiliation. But when you bring yes people around you, they are going to give you wrong advice. What the NTA we have done, working with Hope, working with the CRM, what we intend to do is to work and form a team of individuals we've never seen before in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, where we will be able to transform Trinidad and Tobago. You don't see that with myself with national security. Yes, as the Minister of National Security, was the highest reduction in serious crime in 35 years. As the Commissioner of Police, public trust and confidence in the police service went up to 59%, highest ever. But it wasn't Gary Griffith. It was a team of individuals I had around me. And the same way I was able as a minister to lead 20,000 persons, whether it be fire services, prisons, customs, immigrations, police, army. As a commissioner of police, whether it is 7,000 police officers, I want Team Trinidad and Tobago. I want to unite this country. I want to build this country to be something it has never been before. Please excuse my throat. I was partying a little too much during Carnival. And Pastor Dotton, thank you so much for being here this evening, sir. I listened to you and I kept saying, give him 5 minutes, give him 5 minutes, give him 5 minutes. You were just on a roll. I thank you very much. And that is what we need. People who are impartial. I don't need you to wear blue. We don't need you to wear purple. We do not need you to wear orange. We need you to be just Team Trinidad and Tobago. Work with us, trust us, believe in us. And we do know the importance of the blue. What is interesting is this color blue. A certain political party, again, for 35 years, they wore yellow. And then all of a sudden, on Monday, in a political meeting, she's trying to explain why they have turned from yellow to blue. And she said, because blue is blue, blue, God love you. So you didn't know that God loved blue in 1988 since UNC was formed? No, they love the color blue because they saw what the NTA stood for. They saw the determination, they saw the teamwork, they saw the pride, they saw the charisma when we worked with you. But guess what? You can take our color, you cannot take the character. The character is within us. We intend to build Trinidad and Tobago. I'll keep saying it over and over and over. I want to go into political history because again, what we've been hearing is people when you have to make that choice is going to be between people who want to remove the PNM, between a People's Alliance, as you see here, or a UNC alliance. But the UNC, right now, and rightly so, they are boasting about their achievements from 2010 to 2015. But when you look at those achievements, individuals that they had then comprise, let me just give you some quick names. Persons known as Winston Lukaran, Prakash Ramadar, Carolyn C. Prasad Bechan, and Gary Griffith, Anand Ram Logan, Devon Marat. They were not UNC. So you're boasting about people to bring you in government based on half of the people in your cabinet being that from the Congress of the People, and they are no longer there. But let's continue now. Let's go to the UNC. The performance and how UNC excelled in 2010 to 2015 was because of names such as Suraj Ramachan, Ramona Ramdia, Potewari, Stephen Cadiz, Ganga Singh, Fazal Karim, Tim Gopi Singh, Gypsy, Basan Bharat, Kevin Ramnarayan. All my comrades in cabinet, they are no longer there. They are all gone. So for you to expect the results of 2010 to 2015, 15 years ago, based on the fact that your whole batting team has gone,
This is like stating because Brian Lara was a good batsman 25 years ago, we should bring Brian Lara to play for the West Indies. Or Hazley Crawford, because he got a gold medal in 1976, we should have him perform for Trinidad and Tobago in the LA Olympics in 2028. Or Miss what's her name? Nicoline Griffith, because 25 years ago she was Miss Trinidad and Tobago and she placed 12th and she got best costume. Maybe she should go back up for Miss Trinidad and Tobago, but she'll probably win her because she's still looking damn good. But that is not, it doesn't work like that. You have to look now, show me your team, and I have to show you my team. My team for national security, it is a batting lineup similar to the West Indies team. Well, not this West Indies team, the West Indies team of the 80s and 90s. That batting lineup has individuals such as Commander Norman Dindial, an individual who has been a commanding officer, a very senior officer in the Coast Guard, with multi-million-dollar assets being secured for when he was in the Coast Guard. Major Dirk Barnes, one of the most exceptional persons dealing with security in Trinidad and Tobago. Captain Mark Jardine, one of the most qualified persons as it pertains to the Air Guard, and then he was the Air Wing in the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. And we can go on and on. So with these individuals that we have, we are looking at a team that can turn around Trinidad and Tobago's national security. But it's not there alone. We will bring it to every element: health, education, the economy, sport, culture. We are going to put the powerful people, and I will challenge any other political party, man, woman, let us go and debate. Show us your plans, show us your policies. Let us show you what we have done. What we also have is a strategic institute of Trinidad and Tobago comprising 180 of the most qualified minds, independent minds, because that has been our problem. We divide this country in half when you win, and then you bring individuals who have no knowledge on anything as it pertains to the field that they are put in. They get there because of the party card. We cannot allow it. So I will give you a simple example about health. We have political parties that go on Google and put less than 50 ways to improve health in the country. And then one of the things you bring up is we're going to put up birth unit in Conquistas. There's never been a need for a birth unit in 50 years, but somebody gave you that idea. So when you take those 50 policies, each one costs $100 million. We now have to find $5 billion if the UNC alliance gets in government. That is not how it works. What you're bringing up is after the fact. What we are trying to find will be avenues to prevent persons from ailment. And that's what we have never done before. Let me give you a simple example. Trinidad and Tobago, we are ranked 110th in the world in life expectancy. That is 73 or 74 years is the average life expectancy of citizens in Trinidad and Tobago. In most countries, the highest is 85 years old. Why are we 110th? You know why? Because of this simple, we lack health care preventative maintenance. There are three main avenues that cause the majority of deaths in this country, over 75%. Heart, cancer, and diabetes. We have political parties making recommendations that after you get the heart attack, we will deal with you. After you, no. What has happened is many people suffer from this because they do not have the facilities, they do not have the financing to check themselves. So for example, you're not checking yourself for cancer, and then when it finally comes up now, it starts to run and it is too late. You check yourself, you start getting heart problems because your cholesterol clogged. By that time, your heart has been damaged. What we are doing is making sure we intend to put persons in a category to ensure that each and every citizen in this country can have the capability, can afford it, that you can have that preventative healthcare maintenance to ensure that we can see what is going wrong with you. Because the faster you deal with it, that is when the prevention is better than cure. That is a simple aspect of how we intend to deal with health. And there are many other aspects. And if we do this properly, my intention is to ensure that our life expectancy in Trinidad and Tobago can move from 73 years to 80 years. We can do that. Would you not want each of your family members who are still alive to live to be over 80 years? I would like that to happen. I would love to see my mother-in-law get to over 80 years. Would everybody love to see their mother-in-law be over 80 years? Or even 90 years if she could. And that is what we want. We need to find ways to make things happen in Trinidad and Tobago. And when we look at, again, I want to speak about diplomacy and tact. Trinidad and Tobago, we have seen a recent controversy where one political leader
is stating basically he does not care what the United States has to say about a situation involving Cuban doctors. His point is, I was there already, I don't care about it, I don't need to go back. Another, in her excitement to go to the extreme, is saying let's just do whatever the Americans say so that we'll be in our good books. One extreme to the other. My style of politics, our style of politics is to find a common ground. You have one political leader saying I don't care about what the Americans say, so to hell with them and the visas. And you have another willing to give up our sovereignty. No! What you do is to analyze the situation, verify if there is some degree of concern with human trafficking with Cuban doctors, because you get reports in certain places that these Cuban doctors, sometimes their salary goes straight to Cuba and they get next to nothing. That is a concern. If not, and the Cuban doctors are of value to Trinidad and Tobago because of the shortage of our medical practitioners, then it could be of value even to U.S. citizens who are here. It requires dialogue, not high-handed approach with one political leader saying, keep your damn visas, and the other one saying, let's just do everything the Americans see. That is where we speak about diplomacy. Diplomacy cannot be one where you want to return as a prime minister and you want to attack an outgoing administration because you hope that they don't get back in government in 2028. Diplomacy involves one that you want to be a prime minister and you attack every single prime minister in CARICOM by stating that they are involved in PR gimmicks, but you want to be a prime minister with them. Diplomacy requires one that you cannot refer to our Venezuelan neighbors, regardless of how he got in office. He is the de facto person in charge of Venezuela. You refer to this man as a narco trafficker, a drug lord, and suppose that you get in government. How you expect us to deal with our neighbors? We need to have prime ministers and leaders who are diplomatic, who can understand diplomacy. And if you don't do that, you cannot and must not be a prime minister. I now move us, just before I close, simple examples again to show our style. Recently, we've just heard, unfortunately, the issue with UK visas being imposed. This report lies squarely on the present administration. I had the exact problem 10 years ago as Minister of National Security. The British High Commissioner contacted me, our High Commissioner in London at the time, Governor Nicholas, contacted me. He said, problems. Visas were going to be imposed on Trinidad and Tobago. I said, pull up. Let's see what could be done. I contacted the British. I traveled to London on a few occasions to find out what was the problem. They were very concerned about drugs entering Gatwick from Trinidad and Tobago, persons coming from CARICOM entering PR code to get to Gatwick. And they said it is impossible to stop the visas. You along with 7 other countries, the visas are going to be imposed and there's nothing you can do. I said, what is the problem? They gave me a list of several things to do. I needed to put organized crime and narcotic units in the airport. I needed to re-establish the National Operations Center that has been shut down by this government. I needed to put canines at the airport. We had to put security advisors from the United Kingdom. We had to put a special advisor to airport authority. We had to bring other units from different avenues to improve the training, improve the technology. Every single thing they asked for, we were able to do the impossible. And that prevented us having the visas imposed. That is the type of leadership we want. And we were able to stop it once the other countries, the visas were imposed. 10 years later, every single thing that we put in place to prevent those visas, you shut it down. When last you saw a K9 in the airport? When last have you seen the National Operations Center exist? When last have you seen the type of security and equipment and all of that needed? You shut down and you remove it, so the British government would have seen it. And you would have seen that you are back, you're not listening. If you don't pay, you will feel. So now each citizen you have to pay just about $8,000 for a 10-year visa. And then you might not even get it because of failure by our government. This is not just about the citizens paying, This is an embarrassment to Trinidad and Tobago because it is being seen that we are not ready yet. And these things can change. And then when we look at, again, most recently, we had the embarrassing situation with our military museum, with the CDA. You have a government, which to start with, I didn't understand what a CDA is about. CDA, the Chaguaramas Development Association, seems to be an avenue used by governments to fuel and to streamline certain friends to buy out land in Chaguaramas at no cost or next to nothing. And what has happened is we have a military museum that is there with history of hundreds of years that the Defense Force knows about. We have tens of thousands of retired members of the Defense Force, their family, their friends. This museum has so much history of it.
And because of your zeal to grab land, you of the CDA, in an arrogant manner, will send out and put a vote and lock out the individuals. All that is required. Had I been there, have an emergency meeting with the Trinidad and Tobago Defence Force, the National Trust, the Veterans Association of the Defence Force, Ms. Linda Kelshol, the organizing committee of the museum. Let us find an avenue. If all you want that land and the seafront so bad, find somewhere else for them, find a better property. Turn that into something that our children in schools, people can be educated to understand that the most noble of all professions, which is that being in the military, when you're prepared to give your life for a stranger and for the country, must never be destroyed because of your zeal for land. And these are the types of things that we have seen that has destroyed our country. Lack of military persons, seeing a government not caring about them, citizens being sidelined. Trinidad and Tobago, as I conclude, I am ready for battle. I have fought battles. I know what it is for a battle. And I started in Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst, in the United Kingdom. I was battling and training against the Irish Republican Army. When I returned to Trinidad and Tobago, I was the youngest officer to serve in the attempted coup. I then was the first Trinidad and Tobago citizen to return home with a United Nations peacekeeping medal for fighting for 6 months of democracy in Haiti. I then was a commissioner of police with 43 death threats. I know what the enemy is. I ask each and every one of you of the Bridge constituency, the 3rd constituency, the 3rd party, the 9th and 4th, whatever you call us, understand that no other political party is the enemy. They are nothing other than political opponents. We may have different views, different styles, or whatever. I want us to go into this battle understanding that we are all citizens of this great country. When you see an individual being nasty, trying to destroy families, trying to discredit people, trying to say the nastiest things about people, I'm not going Philip Alexander name tonight, I promise. We are not going down that road. We are not going down to that gutter level. That level is below the white line in the road. We must not do that. So whatever we do as we go into this election campaign, I ask each and every one of you, keep a standard to show that what we are doing, we are not going to try to destroy our political opponents to win a vote. We are going to show to the country that we are at a higher standard. We have the plans, we have the policies, and we have the political will. I ask all to take a deep breath, let us calm down and enjoy this campaign. Because there is going to be a day, and that day is going to be the day after general election. And we will all be citizens of this great country. We will still have one Prime Minister, we will have one government, but above all, we will all be one people, citizens of a great country called Trinidad and Tobago. Never let politics and politicians divide us. I thank you.
Thank you, Captain Gary Griffith. One of the things that Gary said in his closing is that when they go low, below the line in the road, when they go low, we go high. So tonight, I want to thank you all for coming out. I want to say that it's been a pleasure to share the stage with the wonderful people of NTA and CRN. It's been a pleasure to talk to the people of Trinidad and Tobago and to let them know that the standard of politics is rising and will continue to rise under this new alliance. And again, I want to send the message that Gary sent to the UNC supporters and the PNM supporters and the COP supporters and the Patriotic Front supporters and everyone who think that the reason for existing is because they want to offer Trinidad and Tobago a better quality of life, vote with us. Because this, if you look at our crowd tonight, there are people of all races, all class, coming together under one flag for a better Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you, and be safe and have a wonderful night. Now over to my co-host.
So ladies and gentlemen, before we go, I want to remind you, yes, there's another option. No, don't have to vote for the lesser of the evil. This is your chance to demolish the stranglehold that has been facing us by the PNM and UNC duopoly. Make that stance. Make that bold choice for transformation. You have nothing to lose, everybody, but everything to gain. Mr. Terry Seals.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Terry Seals. All those who making some noise for the new Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, make some noise for Mary. Say yeah. Oh, look a little better than that. Come on, man. Somebody say yeah. When I say NTA, you say fire. NTA. Fire. Rolly. Let's run it. Come on. Raise it.
Testing one.
Come on! Somebody's head! In orange, that's alright. There we go!
Of course, that is the meeting that would have taken place and is still going on. You know, that is the close of the meeting in the Mount Lambert area. Today, the members of the All, as they say, the All People's Alliance. at this alliance with Gary Griffith, what we know as the NTA, the Hope, and National Reconstruction Network, National NRN. No, I should watch this thing in it. I'm trying to say that a cappella, but anyway. That is our alliance between the NTA Hope and the CRN, National Reconstruction Network, Community Reconstruction Network. Oh gosh. Now, to you, the members of the public, the reason why we would have brought this one, it is a paid political announcement. That is first thing. But the thing about it is this: many of you are intellectuals outside there, and it's important that we get our information from all different sources. It's very dangerous to rely on one source of information. And just to say, relying on a single source for information is dangerous, as it increases the risk of bias, misinformation, and manipulation. So what would have been broadcast here is for you, the members of the public, to make a choice. Make your own choice and do your own delineation. Studies show that 59% of people who consume only one source are more likely to be false, are more likely to believe falsehood. A peer review research in 2021. So, a 2022 MIT study found that false news spread 6 times faster than true news, making fact-checking crucial. Multiple source provides a broader perspective, exposing hidden truth and preventing deception. In 2003, false intelligence led to the Iraq War, costing over 200,000 civilian lives. So we keep on reiterating the point that it is imperative that you seek information all over. However, the 2008 financial crash was fueled by unchecked corporate claims, causing 8.7 million job loss in the US. Would you gamble with truth when lives and livelihood is at stake? Is at stake. Research from Stafford showed that 82% of students struggle with identifying biased information, providing how easy people can be misled. Cross-checking information isn't just wise, it is a moral duty. So that is what we are fulfilling, our moral duty, as to bring clear information to you on both sides. On all sides, a matter of fact, I wouldn't say both sides, on all sides, that you might be able to see and hear the truth for yourself and do your own analogy. My name is Venison Jeffrey. This is the Workers' Rights Platform, and I am out. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.